I will call the regular town council meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. You can all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll move on to proclamations and presentations. We have two tonight. The first one is a proclamation honoring Lisa Hancock upon her retirement. I'll read this one out in full. All right. Whereas Lisa Ann Hancock is retiring after 13 years of service with the town of Tolland after a 40-year career, Lisa has served as the Director of Finance and Records for those 13 years with steadfast dedication and commitment to the community. And whereas Lisa has been an invaluable member of the town of Tolland, she has extensive knowledge of the town's financial system, its budgeting process, and long-term needs in terms of growth and development of the organization and community. And whereas during her tenure with the town of Tolland, Lisa has worked hard to achieve and maintain Tolland's stellar AAA ratings by Fitch Rating Agency and Standard & Poor's, as well as receiving the GFOA Budget Presentation Award every year. And whereas Lisa handled the role of interim town manager seamlessly, providing the town with professional oversight during a time of transition. And where Lisa is the past president of the Connecticut Government Finance Officers Association and of the New England State Government Finance Officer Association, and is a member of the National Government Finance Officer Association and the Capital Region Plant Purchasing Council. And whereas Lisa will be missed by her friends and coworkers at Town Hall, we have enjoyed her generosity and friendship. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Tolland that it hereby recognizes and thanks Lisa Ann Hancock for her professional and personal dedication to the Town of Tolland and its citizens. We honor Lisa for her service to the Town of Tolland and offer her our sincere best wishes for the future as she embarks on her retirement. Dated at Tolland, Connecticut, this 11th day of February, 2025. Yes, let's get a picture. Would you like to do it right here?
Yeah.
Gotta do
Right under the sun. Oh.
Have you been busy enough with all the organizations you're about?
Yeah.
It's like, you know.
Next, don't touch it.
Yeah.
You guys remember the guys with the chairs out of the way.
I'll pull it
Block
over.
everything. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
For all your help.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
You're welcome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
My pleasure. All these years on and off.
Well, I wish you
Joys
all,
and sorrow.
thank you. I wish you all the best of a not too stressful budget season and best wishes.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
We've done, before you take it off it down,
A minute or two while you need me.
thank you for all your years of service. I think I've worked with you for what, 5 years on the Board of Ed and going on my friend. So, and I knew you before then too, volunteering, so I've noticed, yeah, I just want to wish you a great retirement.
Thank
And
you.
the town of Tolland has been very lucky to have you and stay on board to help you with the, like getting into the budget season, so, much appreciated.
Happy to do it, and I'm still around if she has questions, so
Yes.
she's covered. And I think she's gonna do fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa.
Right. So now we'll get to the second proclamation of the evening, recognizing February as Black History Month. So I will read the whole thing, but I will read a few bits of the highlights. So whereas the town of Tolland celebrates the cultural, spiritual, economic, and political contributions made by the Black community to the town, state, nation, and world. And whereas this nation was founded upon and is guided by a set of principles that includes every person who has been created equal, and that each has their rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and that each shall be accorded to the fullest protection of the law, and acknowledges the challenges, injustices, and oppression faced by Black citizens in this community, state, nation, and world, and that we must actively work to eliminate these challenges, injustices, and oppression. And whereas we as a community must face and learn from the past injustices of slavery and prejudice, build on the past and support and protect the rights of the Black American community, and in doing so, work together to build a better, more prosperous future for all town residents. I therefore, Jacob Murray, Chair of the Town Council, on behalf of the Town Council and community at large, am proud to honor and celebrate the contributions of Black individuals, families, and businesses, past, present, and future, and welcome Black residents to the town and proclaim February 2025 as Black History Month, dated this 11th day of February 2025. Go. Is there something you wanted to say, or? Oh, okay. I see your hands in my throat. No, you're good, you're good. Okay. You're welcome. When I read it, it's just, I see your hands and I'm like,
I know, I'm sorry.
I feel like I'm messing it up, but it's all good. It's just me. So anyway, I guess fine. So that brings us to item 5, public petitions, communications, and public participation. Any subject within the jurisdiction of the town council. For all those who may have not participated before, there is a 2-minute limit on any public comment, but there is public comment at the end as well. So with that, we'll go to the room first. Everybody in the room. It's fairly light. So we'll go online. Is there anyone online who would like to make public comment tonight? Back to the room.
I'd like to give everyone else a chance. Dennis Deegan, 689 Tolland Stage Road. Just a couple of things. Past 2 meetings, I missed one, I think, in between, so 2 out of the last 3. I had made comments about the assessment information not being online, okay? I learned at the last meeting, thanks to the new finance director, I didn't stay till the end, so I don't know whether that was brought up or not, that in fact it has been online, and obviously I was doing something wrong. And at the same time, though, I appreciate the help that the new finance director, and unfortunately I'm not about to try to pronounce her name, I will someday. And, you know, part of that confusion, without trying to minimize my own poor response in this, is that I got mixed messages coming out of the assessor's office as to whether it was or wasn't online, that kind of thing. So at any rate, I'm glad that was at least resolved in my head, and I wanted to own up to some of the comments I had made previously that were wrong, apparently. So I wanted to do that. The other thing, I guess, obviously, it's great to see the proclamation for Lisa. I don't know how she's put up with multiple councils over the years and still held on to her sanity, but she appears to, which is great. I also want to laud the council for the other proclamation on Black History Month, okay? It kind of goes hand in hand with my comment at the last meeting dealing with which happened to be the day after the celebration for the, you know, resolving the issue that was going on at Auschwitz and allowing those folks that had survived to get out. So it's good to see that recognized. I think the other thing that, you know, given a lot of stuff that's going on now and on the internet, in how DEI gets a really bad rap because, unfortunately, my words, unfortunately, people think it's just one thing. But the reality is, as I'm sure all of you know, that it has to do with basically everyone that is potentially disadvantaged in some way, you know. And I copied this and put this on my own Instagram page, and I thought quickly I'll try to read at least some of it. I don't think everyone knows what DEI includes. It includes the disabled neighbor that can only work 4 hours a day.
the Down syndrome bagger that works at the grocery store, the autistic barista that makes sure your coffee is perfect every time you're there. It includes veterans, it includes your pregnant friends that may have to take FMLA for bed rest or to be able to accommodate for their job. So, and obviously it deals with ethnicity too, okay? Skin color, et cetera. So I don't know whether or not it makes sense at some point, depending upon how things evolve in this town, to help people understand that it's more than just race, that it involves everyone that we may see at the grocery store or we may see out and about trying to have dignity in their life. So at some point, if it's necessary, that would be great. But I laud you because even what you did today with that proclamation in terms of what's going on in the country shows courage. And quite honestly, there's too many complicit people in this world right now. I was going to make a political statement, but I won't. But I'll just say that it's good to see that at least the folks in Tolland are not complicit and have courage. Very, very important, especially now. Thank you very much.
Mr. Deegan, I know we're not, this isn't a back and forth. I know I appreciate the chair for letting me just say this. I just want to note that I did reference the information being online, but it was always at the end of our meetings because we can't.
Yeah,
so just wanted to let you know. Thank you.
I figured that. That's why hopefully I tried to
Nope, that's great.
provide that caveat to my comment.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
They're just too long for me to stay up.
I don't blame you. Thank you.
All right, is there anybody online who'd like to make public comment tonight?
Thank you, though.
Welcome. All right, not seeing anyone, we'll close public comment and we'll go to public hearing items, of which we do have one tonight. Consideration of a resolution to approve a purchase and sale agreement for the Tolland Marsh. Mike or Brian, I don't know if you want to say anything to set us up for that, but.
I think Brian will jump in.
All right.
Yes, all right. So as you know, we're in the process of purchasing the Tolland Marsh. We were awarded a very generous grant from the state of Connecticut, Department of Energy, DEEP. And in order to purchase it, part of the purchasing process, among many, many other things to come, is a public hearing to hear what the general public thinks of the town making a purchase on land. This goes for pretty much any town purchase on land. And that's where we are tonight. So I go back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Brian. So as council knows, we had a discussion about this at the previous meeting to set the public hearing. So the way this will work is we'll open the public hearing. Public has a chance to make comment upon this issue specifically. Then we'll close the public hearing and then there is a resolution for consideration. Oh, and you'll share, Councilor Gudacek will share some online correspondence regarding this issue.
David wants to jump in.
Yeah.
I do just want to know real quick for the record, the planning and zoning last night heard an 824 referral on the Marsh and issued a positive referral, so you're good to go ahead. The one comment they noted and wanted to forward on was there's a piece of land to the north which is owned by the Citgo station, and they are interested in seeing the town potentially acquire the wet parts of that to merge in with the marsh if possible, and if there's no negative impacts. So just wanted to share that with you all.
Okay. Question on that. Would that be rolled into this resolution, or if that ultimately worked out, would that be a completely separate process?
That would be a completely separate process. But if you all direct me to start on it, we can get started on it, but yes, that would be a separate process.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing for item 6.1.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, any discussion? No, all right. We're hybrid tonight, so Councilor Beebe?
Aye.
Councilor Butler?
Aye.
Councilor Gudacek?
Aye.
Councilor Moran?
Aye.
Councilor Shea?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, so the public hearing is open. Before we get to the regular audience, we'll go to Councilor Gudacek. She can read the online correspondence in the record, or someone as you like.
So, Council, if I missed any, just let me
Yeah.
know. I think we got two. We got, I think, from both of them today. So both of them, I'll start one at a time. So this writer is in support of it, but she is, just wants to be cautious of any kayaking or anything like that, so it doesn't disrupt any wildlife. And then she gave a lot of history about the marsh as well. Lisa, I'll make sure you have copies of these letters, because I don't think we really read the entire thing.
Yeah, you could just summarize it, yeah.
And then we just got one at 6:02, about the marsh, and this person fully supports the marsh, and he thinks it's also gonna, be great for ADA, or at least discuss it. And I believe we discussed that at the last meeting too, but those are really, to sum it up, they both support it, the marsh.
Thank you. All right, we'll go to the room first. Okay, we'll go to online. Anyone who would like to comment specifically on the issue of purchase and sale agreement for the Tolland Marsh? Back to the room.
I'm sorry, I had trouble. I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
I was asking if any of the public want to make a comment during our public hearing. Counselor Beebe, that was all.
Yep, no, thank you.
Thank you, bro. I'll make it brief. Dennis Deegan, 689 Tolland Stage Road. I guess the only thing, my thought, I'm all in favor when it makes sense strategically for the town. So I don't know whether or not in this process, that's going to be part of the discussion as to what the purpose is, what's the idea, how does that fit in with the general planning for the town and going into the future. The town I lived in New Jersey, they spent money on open space like they were drunken sailors, an old term, okay? To the tune of like $20 million in debt just to do that. So I know Tolland's not going to do that, but that would be my only comment and thought. Obviously, I think it makes sense for lots of reasons, although I just would suggest that it fits into some sort of strategic approach that you guys have for the town going forward. All right, thank you.
Any public comment from the folks online? Okay, hearing none. So I'll entertain a motion at this time to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, we'll go do a roll call vote. Counselor Beebe,
Aye.
Counselor Butler,
Aye.
Counselor Yuchek,
Aye.
Counselor Shay.
Aye.
I went out of order. Counselor Moran.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, so public hearing is closed. I don't know, anybody wants to acknowledge the concern brought forward by a resident. We have discussed it, but
Just a couple of points. First, I just want to thank you, David, for bringing the 824 referral to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I know that was some, generally speaking, the Planning and Zoning Commission wanted to be involved in things like this, so I'm glad that we were able to do that this time. I also wanted to just mention that the marsh acquisition has sort of been a long time coming. It's come to the Land Acquisition Advisory Committee. It has been, considered through that and considered through this council, obviously. And I also just want to note that the funds for purchasing the property come from a dedicated land acquisition fund, so it doesn't impact our operating budget in any way.
there's also a grant, correct? So,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no student purchase price. I think we have talked about this a good amount at the last meeting, so I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution in item 6.1. It's on page 15 of the packet.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Counselor Beebe,
Aye.
Counselor Butler,
Aye.
Counselor Yuchek,
Aye.
Counselor Shay, Counselor Moran,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. So that motion passes unanimously. That is the last public hearing item we have for tonight. So that brings us to item 7A, reports of boards and committees responsible to the council. Let's go to Counselor, you to check. I think the firehouse committee is, that's the last one, but
So there is,
was the,
yeah, some updates and news.
Yeah.
So today we had a firehouse subcommittee site walk with Cardinal and an architect out on me. He's from Humes of Jakuski Humes Architects. Did I say it right? I think so, pretty close. So anyways, we started at station 140 and went over some priorities there. Then we headed over to station 440 where the assistant chief gave everybody an update of some things that they're looking for and some changes that they're looking at because of the amount of money that's left and what voters voted on. So the what I'm going to say, the architect said he'll make a list of priorities and then go from there and bring it to the subcommittee so we can discuss that and come up with what generally they make consensus on. So overall, I thought they were great, particularly the architect. His background is public safety buildings and stuff, so he knows, and I just already got a good feeling about them. So that's really, really good. So overall, it was productive, and Yoletta came, and so she got to see the 3 stations. So the new one, 340, actually 140 and 440. So that was really good as well. So that was that. So we canceled our regular meeting this week because we don't have much to go off of. And then Megan, I was gonna say Megan, not Megan. Marilee Beebe has been appointed as Chris's designee as vice chair, and we've already started communicating, Marilee and I. So I talked to her on Thursday and gave her Marilee a 10-minute quick rundown of everything, and she's already been. We email her, so she's getting up to date pretty quick. I think she's gonna be a great asset to the team, and we have another site visit scheduled with Marilee on March 18th. So she'll get an update as well and get a visual, and obviously her opinion will mean a lot as well with her background. With saying that, I think that having Jacob around or on it still will be very helpful because of his history on the subcommittee. He knows what's going on and going forward. So I think that Jacob will continue to be a good asset to the team as well. And that's really all I have.
thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions or?
And Megan's here as well, so she could answer any questions too.
I'll just say, I'm happy to support, if you're interested, and having you continue to be involved. And I know any adjustments to the committee would require a vote of the council for resolution, but I appreciate your interest in having me stay around. It's doing a lot of very good work.
Yeah, it's again, Marilee, I think you'll be very happy with Cardinal and the other one. They're really good.
Thank you.
Great. ARPA no longer exists.
Nope.
So ROG and EHHD, I don't have any specific updates. Unless Brian or Mike, do you have anything to report? So head nod, no. That brings us to committee and liaison reports. So we'll go around the room. So we'll start online first. Councilor Beebe, any liaison reports you'd like to give tonight?
Yeah, so the biggest thing was the discussion of the 824 application by PZC at the meeting last night. And as you got a report from David, there was an idea, which I frankly I thought was actually a good one, to approach the owner of the gas station property and see if they might be interested in a deal moving forward. Other than that, there was a minor local driveway item, and then I jumped off a little bit early because I have not been well. So it was a late night for PZC.
Sure.
Yeah. Stay well out there. Seems like there's everything is going around. Thank you. Counselor Butler?
I did not have any meetings.
Question about the, sorry.
Yeah.
So,
Your report was there was no meetings, right?
no meeting.
Okay.
No meeting.
All right, yes.
Quick question about the land near the Citgo station. Has any testing been done as far as contamination in that property?
I don't know yet.
Before we investigate purchasing that property?
I know they had issues with their tanks a year or so ago. I don't know exactly where that's landed, but yeah, absolutely, we would want to make sure it's not contaminated before
Yeah.
moving
Yeah,
forward
love
with
it.
anything.
Okay, thanks.
Three-eyed fish.
Right, yeah.
Let's just do that. Okay, Counselor Yudichak. go
That's
on.
okay.
Yeah.
So last night we had a recreation advisory committee meeting, which was a little off because we didn't have quorum, but we did still have a discussion, obviously no voting or anything like that, because we had quorum. And partly it was because we had all like different coaches from little leagues, football, baseball, etc. So they came out and expressed some of their concerns. I believe Bruce Watts will be letting Brian know. We're probably reaching out to DPW. I'm not sure how you guys handle that, but they did have, especially soccer, had a list of concerns. So Brian, I'm not sure if he's reached out or if Bruce has talked to you yet.
I saw the list. I have it and forwarded it to Scott. Nothing of any surprise there at all. And it falls into the plan that Bruce, myself, and Director Lappin had worked out in regards to taking care of the fields over the next 20 years.
Yeah, the biggest thing was they didn't think it was being maintained too well. But yeah, overall, it's always good to see all the different coaches or whatever. But,
That's all?
that was all. We couldn't do anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go last. So Counselor Moran?
I don't think I had any meetings to report back on. The only thing I'll mention is I think the contaminated wells task force is meeting tomorrow.
Thursday.
Thursday night, but that's all I got.
Okay.
So the water commission meeting was canceled. The cultural commission had a meet and greet for their regular meeting, and they invited farmers from different towns over to farmers for this time. I did not attend that, so.
I'll give my report. So 2 boards met, for which I'm a liaison to. So the Economic Development Commission last Wednesday, they reviewed some comparative economic data similar towns to Tolland to help develop economic development plans. And a task that they've been working on for a while. So just continue to work that. Additionally, they had kind of an open-ended discussion about potential roadblocks, for lack of a better term, businesses might face that would make Tolland less competitive compared to other towns. I don't think there was really a firm resolution to that. I think the general consensus was the town does, what it can to be business friendly. It's not antagonistic. But Tolland, as we know, does face some significant geographical, geological obstacles and things that can make it less competitive to locate here. Additionally, they did ask for a brief update up on the tax abatement ordinance, which we're going to talk about tonight. I'll finish. Yeah, okay. Then the other thing, so we, as discussed in the previous meeting, councilors are going to take turns going to board event meetings to report back throughout the year. Last week was my assigned night, although I think most of the council was on that meeting. But anyway, the board of ed reviewed various budget scenarios for their budget proposal and attempted to reach a consensus choice. They gave Dr. Willett, the superintendent, some advice, and I believe they're going to be reviewing that final proposal and voting on it tomorrow. So that is coming up. That is all I had. Councilor Yudichak, do you have
No, I
questions?
just wanted to make sure you covered that. That's why it just
Yes.
popped into my head.
Okay.
Yes, yes, 4 of us were on, and I will be the liaison for tomorrow night's meeting. Board of Ed.
that closes out boards and committee reports and town council liaison reports. So that brings us to new business. Our first item tonight is consideration of a resolution to authorize the town manager to submit a steep application to the Office of Policy and Management.
All right, thank you, Chair. So as discussed recently in our capital presentation, we have an animal control facility here in Tolland. That animal control facility is dated, and the state of Connecticut has deemed that in 5 years, we have to bring it up to the new state standards. As a result, we put about $1 million into our capital plan 4 or 5 years down the road to have that rebuilt on time to meet those state standards. That being said, we'd much rather get a state grant for it than pay that $1 million. And so we are applying for the Small Town Economic Assistance Program 2025 grant through the state of Connecticut to cover the cost of building that facility. That grant comes with a 20% match. So it cost us, round figures around $200,000. Round figures again, just under 100,000 we would get from our or 100,000, I believe, from our dog fund. So we'd be on the hook for about $100,000 for $1 million facility. If we go regional, there's an opportunity to recoup some of that money as well. All things to consider. But in an effort to apply for this grant, we have to have approval from our governing body, Town Council, to apply for the grant ahead of time. Megan Moss has done all of the work here and just a great job to this point, both on the facility and the regionalization of staffing associated with animal control. It's been quite a lift, so we'd love to move forward with the STEEP grant. You can see February 20th. She is under a timeline and has been really doing well with it. So I'm just asking for permission to move forward with the grant, and there's a resolution should you all agree.
Thank you. Megan, did you have anything you'd like to add?
I think Brian covered that pretty well. I can answer questions if anybody has questions. I think the shared animal control portion of that will come to council separately when we have more information on the MOU and stuff like that. But I think just for the facility here in the state grant, Brian covered that pretty well. Happy to answer questions.
Do you have any questions from councilors?
I do.
Yeah.
So thank you, Megan, and thank you for doing the work on this grant. So let me just go up to my notes for it. So I don't know if it's said in here, it's in here and I missed it, I apologize. When was the winner's gonna be announced for this? After you, their date?
I don't know that I have a set date. It's usually just a couple months.
Okay. And then, how much, do we know how much the total is in the dog fund account right now? Because you're gonna use a big portion of it.
Yeah, and Yolanda might be able to better explain where the funding is coming from.
Yeah. I think the balance is in the
If
package.
she wants
The
to jump in.
balance is-
Good afternoon.
Okay.
I'm online.
So Jacob, sorry, Yolanda, Jacob just pointed out to me how much is in it.
Did you have an additional question?
I did, I said, and then if we went, I hope we do, really bad. So we talk about regionalizing, and I believe we have to pay 20% if we win it, that's kind of, so if any other municipalities want to join in, are they gonna help out in that 20%? So we're not paying the full amount if they're gonna be joining in with us.
So some of that can be incorporated into our shared services costs.
Okay,
So we'll have a staffing cost for municipalities that want to participate. And then there'll also be probably a building maintenance cost that'll be factored in. And one of the things we can discuss is whether or not we're gonna recoup costs on the match on this project.
okay,
But we don't have anything set in stone yet.
all right. No, I
With
just
those
wanted to go
agreements.
through it, so, but that's all I have, Jacob. Thank you, Megan.
Any other councilors? Yep, Councilor Lauren.
Just one quick question. In our application, like, are we able to mention that we're seeking to regionalize or sort of include that, something that would be, I presume would be positive for the application?
Oh, wait, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. And thank you, Megan, yet again, for doing all you do with the grants. It's a huge help to the town and you do a ton of work on it. So thank you.
Any counselors or questions? Okay, I had a couple questions. One was, with the dog fund, the 200,000 balance, where does the money come from? Is that just from like adoption fees or is it from other things?
Yolanda's done actually some research on this.
Yes. Good afternoon, council. So, as you know, I'm just few months into my position, but I was trying to figure it out and look at the history back. And I think Lisa maybe is still in the room. She can add it. So, for dog fund, we do fund some expenses through general fund, and those expenses are transferred every fiscal year, whatever it's get approved, adopted. And then we do have some other revenues that we receive from town clerk. I can provide more detail if you're looking to see what the revenues are, but so far, when the last time I looked at the balance unassigned, it was about 200,000. So it's pretty healthy fund right now. Of course, there is no plan to utilize the full 200,000 at once, but some of it money, if we get approved for this grant, and then the timing of it, right? Some things could change, but right now that's the plan.
Thank you, appreciate the background in there. The other question I have was, so it's in for fiscal year 29, 2030 in the current plan, but we're applying for the grant now. That just kind of surprised me because it's usually, like, I feel like don't grants usually expire after a certain period if you don't use them? Like, is it?
So we have, with steep funding, we have 4 years to use the funds, and then we could apply for another year extension, a one-time extension, so potentially up to 5. I don't know that it's gonna take us that long if we get the funding, if we are awarded. There's a process that we're gonna have to go through. The Department of Agriculture has to go through and review our plans and approve them, so it's not gonna be a quick build. But there's certainly no reason if we get grant funding that we can't move ahead with it. If we don't get grant funding, it is further out in our plan.
Okay, so you're saying, so the 2029 date, I don't know if I'm putting words in your mouth, that's, there's adequate lead time built in there to get approvals.
Yep.
From the ag department and the groups.
Yep. So the funding, this is the first year that Steep is offering $1 million as a maximum grant award. It was always 500,000. So this is the first year, and it's going to be more competitive because their overall budget hasn't increased. It's just the award amount. So you figure 50% less awards. So the funding typically would have come out in the summer, and it was a little delayed while they were trying to make some of those changes. And we just try to seize the opportunity while the grant funding's open now, before everybody else maybe catches up on their dog pounds and
Yeah.
and I'm fighting to get an award. So our fingers are crossed. But if for some reason we are not able to secure grant funding, we do have to have it in the capital plan.
Yeah, okay, well, that makes sense. And what towns are, can you say what towns are interested in?
I can tell you that we have been working with Pauline Yoder and Krog on a grant that will help to kind of offset some of the staffing costs. The towns that we are working with currently, we have we've talked to Mansfield, Stafford, Ashford, and Wellington. Currently, that's kind of what we're looking at. I don't know if we're all these towns going to go forward with a shared services agreement. We haven't gotten that far, but there's definitely interest in doing shared services or some kind of a mutual aid arrangement. So.
Okay, no, I think that's good, and I think we talked about regionalization as it's a good goal to have, so definitely support that. Any other questions from council? Okay, so I'll entertain a motion. Find it 28, yeah, on page 28, I'll entertain a motion for agenda item 8.1. So moved. Okay, is there a second?
Yeah.
All right, Counselor Phoebe,
Aye.
Counselor Buckler,
Hi.
Counselor Yudichak, Counselor Moran,
Aye.
Counselor Shay. Aye. I'm an aye as well, so that passes unanimously. Thank you, Megan, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, item E2, consideration of a resolution to approve a bid waiver for the refurbishment of tanker 440.
Thank you, Chair. So, as you know, here in Tolland, most of our town is not covered by fire hydrants, so we have to bring water to the fire. We store the water in tankers in our various facilities around town. Those tankers hold approximately 3,000 gallons of water, and the trucks stand readied full of water 365 days a year. That can take its toll on suspension springs and otherwise the entire truck. So the truck that we have is that we're talking about tonight is a 2003 tanker that we'd like to have refurbished as opposed to buying a new one. And refurbishing is a fraction of a new one. We're looking at about 180 to refurb, 600 for a new truck. So let's go with the 180 for a refurb. The chief, Lytel's been very good about rotating these around and getting them refurbished. We, in an effort basically the company that builds them are the ones that refurb them, and so Chief Lytel is here now. We would like to do a bid waiver, which we need approval through council to go through this company. The last time we went out, they're the only company that bid on doing it as well. So Chief Lytel is here if you have any other questions about it.
Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to add, Chief Lytel?
No, it's a sister truck of Tank 140 that we did in 2023. And we sent bids out then. So 3 different companies that do refurbs, and US Tanker was the only one that committed back to sending a bid, and they've already committed to keeping the same price that they did the last one at. So which is a win-win, because if we go back out, I think the price is gonna elevate.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the council? I think it makes sense. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution in item E2. So moved. All right, is there a second? Any discussion? Nope, we'll go around. Councilor Phoebe,
Aye.
Councilor Buckler,
Aye.
Councilor Yudichak,
Aye.
Councilor Moran,
Aye.
Councilor Shay. Aye. I'm an aye as well, so bid waiver has been granted. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that brings us to item 8.3, discussion of potential changes to the tax abatement policy and the setting of a public hearing thereon for February 25th, 2025. So that would be the next meeting. I'll open this item up, give the summary here, because I've been working with the Economic Development Commission on this. And then we have David Corcoran here for additional questions as well. So a few notes. This is a revision to the existing ordinance that makes Tolland's tax abatement rules. State or municipalities are allowed to have tax abatements per state statute, but there's a decent amount of latitude of how they can be used. Some towns hardly use them at all. Other towns are very loose with their roles. It really depends. I worked with the Economic Development Commission. I brought this idea to them that we probably should define our policy a little bit better, with a couple key goals up in mind in the document that is in the packet tonight. Tries to accomplish 2 big things. So number one, it tries to create a useful economic development tool. As mentioned at the top of the meeting, there's certain barriers that can make it an obstacle to develop in Tolland. First section rewords instances where tax abatement should be considered, making it a little bit more broad or open-ended. Additionally, it ensures the town doesn't get burned by quote like half-baked business ideas, which is a pretty key element. It requires that we see a business plan from prospective businesses to make sure that there's a legitimate proposal on the floor. And then finally, it just creates a bit more of a process for how these should be done. So the Economic Development Commission will engage, under this ordinance, would engage with a potential business that seeks some tax abatement and do some of that legwork with them to get their business plan. And then they would make a recommendation to the council. And this is an important point. The council, per statute, has final say whether to approve or deny any abatements. So that does not change. It ultimately is a council decision. Additionally, any abatement can be up to 10 years. It could be a full abatement, it could be a partial abatement. This ordinance doesn't prescribe exactly what you're supposed to do, which I think is good because it should vary depending on the circumstances. That's my summary. I don't know, Dave, if you want to add anything, but this was voted out of the Economic Development Commission as is written.
Yep, no, I think you did a great job summarizing it. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Councilor Ring?
No questions. I just want to thank you and the EDC for the time that went into this. Obviously, I think, you know, encouraging businesses to come to Tolland is a great thing. I think having a little bit more of a policy where the EDC would actually engage with the respective business owner is great. And that would allow the council to make a little bit more of an informed decision, I think, when deciding on whether to grant an abatement. So thank you for the work. I think it's a great.
Thank you. Councilor Shay?
So just a couple of questions on procedures. So, we're not adopting this at this point. We're just sort of discussing it and reviewing it, or?
So we can discuss it right now. If the council felt comfortable with it, we can set a date for a public hearing because it's an ordinance, so we couldn't adopt it tonight. We have to have a public hearing first.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, great. You know, read all the edits and things like that first, which I have done. So I don't know if we talk about it after we have, I mean, has everybody read this thing? But you guys have, so I'm just behind on this. I'm not gonna hold up the council if it's my fault.
I'm happy to, answer anything offline too.
Okay.
We'd have another opportunity to discuss, which then you could.
Yeah,
Just ask a question.
mhm. Kind of like that we did with public, or the Tolland Marsh, just it, yeah. Did you have a question, Councilor Buckler, or were you just?
No, I was just clarifying that we'd probably have another opportunity to discuss.
Yeah. Councilor Luchek, you have?
No, I just want, I think that Chris said, but the economic development did a lot of work and you can tell that Joe, you're right, there's a lot of stuff,
A lot of edits.
words and everything, but
Mhm.
overall, I think it's a good idea and like Jen said, that it has to be approved anyways to the public, so.
Mhm.
But overall, Jacob, thank you and your committee that you're on. You know, you've been working hard on this for a while now.
Yeah, no, a big thank you to the Economic Development Commission. I was, we worked together on trying to craft this, that, I think probably started at like August or September, so it's been something we've been.
You can tell
Fine,
there's a
for a
lot of
while.
changes, so.
Councilor Beebe, any questions or comments?
Also want to thank the EDC for doing a lot of work on this. I know this has been a sort of a hot topic issue for a while. As we move forward and go into a public hearing on this, it would be great to be able to look at a metric or some kind of evaluation process for the benefit, the quote unquote benefit to the town versus the taxes not paid. So I think in the resolution that I read, there would be an evaluation of the tax burden versus the benefit to the town of the business locating in the town. So it would be great to understand how that's going to be evaluated and see what that metric could look like. That's it.
Yep. Any other comments from councilors? I think got a couple of questions here, but I think like Councilor Buckler said, we will have a second chance to talk about this as well. So I'll entertain a motion to set the public hearing. Item on page 39. Or no, never mind, page 39. Is there one?
I don't think there is one.
There's nothing. Okay.
Is it the next?
Yeah, the 25th.
I'll make a motion to set the public hearing for the tax abatement policy as discussed tonight. For our next meeting, February 25th. Thank you.
Motion.
Discussion. No, Counselor Phoebe,
No, I don't have, I'm good. You looking for an eye?
okay.
Yep, sorry.
Oh, no problem. Counselor Buckler,
Aye.
Counselor Yudichak,
Aye.
Counselor Shay. Aye. Counselor Moran,
Aye.
and I as well, so that item will have a public hearing on February 25th. All right, moving along, item 8.4, consideration of a resolution to declare various items as obsolete from the Board of Education.
All right, thank you, Chair. As you can see, Dr. Willett has submitted through his forms. He wants to get rid of basically some old textbooks that are no longer affiliated with any classes. So in order to do that, he has to go through this policy here. And we just need council approval to get rid of the books.
Any questions? This is some textbooks. I'll entertain a motion to declare the materials listed on the packet as obsolete or surplus equipment. Okay, Councilor Yudichak makes a motion. Is there a second? Second. All right. Any discussion? All right, Councilor Beebe,
Aye.
Councilor Buckler,
Aye.
Councilor Yudichak, Councilor Moran,
Aye.
Councilor Shay. Aye. And I as well, so these items are declared as surplus. Okay, item 8.5. So this one, we had a little back and forth earlier this week. This is more informational. Per the way the resolution is written, Councilor Vice Chair Moran has full authority to appoint whomever he wants to subcommittee, so it does not need a vote, but the opportunity to congratulate and a lot to that committee with all of her construction knowledge. So great to have her board.
And I just want to thank you, Jacob, and thank you for all the work you've done on the fire. So I'm glad Colleen will continue all the great work that's doing. Certainly to continue to be a resource. So Shirley has a lot of experience in this. So I think hopefully it's a win-win for the town. So thank you.
Absolutely. And there's no other appointments. So,
No.
okay. Brings us to old business, of which we have none. Item 10 is report of the town manager. So
Great.
Turn it over to you.
Thanks, Chair. And again, if I didn't mention earlier, I'm sorry I can't be there. I'm pretty sick as well here, so you're probably glad I'm not there. So I want to thank Chief Lytle and Scott Lappin from DPW for their work during the storms this week. So thank you so much. I also want to report that Yoletta is doing very well as our finance director. I know she had some positive input today on the fire department tours, and everything I'm hearing back is all positive. That being said, with the budget season coming up, it is her first time in the town of Tolland doing this sort of thing. Please, council, if you could get your questions to her in advance prior to the meetings, make your best effort to spend some time and get the questions to us in advance. I assure you we'll do our best part to get the questions answered for you in the meetings. In regards to this senior services caseworker out of our senior center, we're pretty close to making a hire there. That's to replace, formerly it was held by Rebecca Ehlert. And now it's going to be a new senior services caseworker. I believe they were pretty close to hiring somebody. The assessor's office completed their informal hearings for the 2024 in-house revaluation. There was approximately 138 informal hearings, judged 2.2% of the taxable properties basically here in town. The assessor is conducting inspections for those who need them in the field, inspections for those who need them as a part of this hearing process moving forward. Inspections continue for those with crumbling foundations. In 2024, we had 18 new applications and 25 homes that came on. So 18 came off. I mean, so we're moving in the right direction. I want to thank our human services folks for their energy assistance efforts this summer. I heard some positive feedback from a resident who's been assisted, an elderly person who's been assisted by them. So very, very happy with how they do. It kind of flies under the radar, but they do so much great work in obtaining funds and getting energy assistance to our towns needy out there that need the extra funding to pay for heat. While we're on the senior center, we did install panic buttons there for emergencies. I don't think I've told council that. So basically, I believe all of our town buildings where we have staff, for the most part, have panic buttons now. Should something happen, it's a direct line to the state police. The library continues to have some great events. On the 13th, Thursday, they're having a thing on invasive plants here in town, and I'm particularly interested in that. Then tomorrow night, Wednesday, they're painting empty wine bottles. You come there and it's an art class to paint empty wine bottles. That's at 7:30. The empty wine bottles are being provided. I don't know where they're getting them from, but it's neither here nor there. Megan continues to do great. As you know, we talked about the steep application tonight. We got 5,000. She's applying for neglected cemeteries. I expect big news out of our small cities grant. I just can't say it at some point. I know I've been in contact with the state in regards to their press release on that, so it's coming soon. We're going to apply for low SIP grants for some sidewalks to connect the green basically to down by Papa T's and such. That grant stuff is moving forward, Megan. That's all I have. I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Thank you, Brian. Questions for town manager and his report? Go ahead.
Just a few things. Thanks, Brian, for your town manager update first. Ian's not still here, but thank you. I like having the town manager report in with our packet so we have more time to review it. You know, we requested that last time and it happened pretty quickly. So with Trooper Brennan leaving, and I absolutely love that he support our country going for the next 6 months. Any update from the lieutenant at Troop C? Who might be replacing him?
Not yet, but I intend on making that connection soon.
Okay, because when is he leaving in March? Is that?
I don't have the exact date in front of me,
Okay.
but I've been in communication with the lieutenant. Go ahead.
All right, great, thank you. I know it took a while to get him in place, so. Okay, in the next, I know you touched base earlier on the electricity, with electricity going way up with CLP. Are we seeing more people applying, or are we expecting more people to apply as these rates continue to go up?
This is the energy assistance I was speaking as regards to heat, oil, and gas.
All right, then can I ask a question about, do you think more people are gonna be coming to human services? Is that something you offer for electricity at all?
I don't hazard a guess. I don't think Bev is still there.
Okay,
Oh, she's online, but I don't know the answer to that.
okay, fair enough. And then I also just got 2 more things. I also want to know, Bev jumped off, but the Commission with People with Disabilities had their first newsletter go out, and I just wanted to make sure that Human Services was recognized because they were a big part of putting that together. And I saw it was on the Tolland patch, so that's the information just getting out there, so I just wanted to give a big shout out to Human Service. I think it was, is her name Teresa Bryan in that office?
Teresa Christoph, the Assistant Human Services Director, she's fantastic.
Yeah, I believe she's the one that put it together. So if you could just thank her or let Bev know. And then I have another question, but I'm for Yolita. I didn't know if I should ask her on the manager report or later on. Yes, I was going through these audit books over the weekend, and I just happened to notice one of them, there was, because we talked a lot about the traffic lights and concerns there. I noticed there was something in there about a traffic fund. I don't know, it's not in last year's, unfortunately, it's in 2023, I don't know. So unfortunately, it wasn't last year, but it's not in this one, so I don't know if it's every other year, but it says it's a fund to account for the state of Connecticut speed enforcement grant that overlaps the fiscal years. Again, it's not in the recent audit book, but it was in the one before
Is that the one you're looking at?
2023.
What page is it?
Yeah.
So it wasn't on 124, but it's page 93.
Okay, maybe she can follow up and get you a good
Yeah,
answer.
so I'll email Brian and CC Yolita on it,
Yeah, or she probably wrote it down right now, but yeah.
or you wrote it down right now. Okay, so it just caught my eye when I was looking through, because we have so many different funds.
Yeah.
Pencil, would you mind repeating the fund name that you were looking at?
Actually just called the traffic fund. Right.
Traffic.
That's why I'm
Okay.
like, what do those funds go towards, and if that's anything that we could put towards the green for,
Yeah, and you said it was on page 93.
yeah, again, it was the 2023, it was not in 2020.
Yeah, it was the 23 audit, page 93.
Yeah,
You looked at.
so. but
I will look at that.
I've never heard of it. My guess is there's overtime for the state police to do traffic enforcement, but we don't actually pay that. Maybe it's a holding fund or something along those lines.
It says it's a revenue fund.
Let Lisa, Mike, if you could unmute Lisa.
Yeah.
Good evening. Hello, everybody. Again, it's Lisa. That fund is we get a special grant for DUI enforcement, and it's our state troopers who do the work. They do overtime, and that grant pays for their overtime to do the special enforcement. I don't think we've gotten the grant in a couple of years now, but that's what that was all about. So once it's gone, it's gone. It's specific for a certain period of time.
Great,
There you go.
thank you, Lisa.
Else good?
I think I'm good. Actually, I do, I'm sorry, because I haven't jumped around. So any update on Fitch, when we'll get that, the final report? It has been quite a while, almost.
Go ahead, Mike.
So I emailed him earlier in the week, or I think, or maybe like last week.
Okay.
His plan was he wanted to, he has the draft report, I think, nearing conclusion, so he wanted to go over that, I think, with Brian. So that was the last time I kind of contacted with him, so he had to kind of articulate when he wanted to do that, so I think we're getting close as far as a final.
Yeah.
Report.
So, okay, so Brian's gonna take a look at it. So I guess my question is the council gonna get a full look at it?
Of course,
Okay.
yeah, it's just, I assume he wants to go over, just make sure there's no mistakes or
Yeah.
anything or things, so.
That's fine.
But of course, there'd be a final report and presentation and everything, so that would be the plan, but
So it's
I
like
think,
estimate 2 weeks to Brian and then a little bit.
I hope so, it has taken a little while, but I know we've been going back and forth, but I guess we want it to be right, and I know there was a lot of, we went through some data reports with the fire department to make sure those were accurate, so, but as soon as we can, we wanna get it
Is there
back.
any way after Brian reviews it, we can see the draft report, especially as it's getting into budget season? I mean, even just seeing the draft ahead of time?
I can talk to Brian, again, I think whatever you need to do or what you wanna see, I think if it's a draft and it's pretty good, then it's pretty close to being final, so we just wanna have them kind of walk you through it, I think.
Absolutely.
So So as soon as we can get whatever version to you, we'll try to as fast as we can.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike and Brian. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for our town manager? We move on from that item to item 11, adoption of minutes. We have one set of minutes from their January 28th meeting. Sorry. Motion to adopt those minutes. So moved. All right, is there a second? Okay. Any discussion? Right, go around, Counselor Beebe. Give Counselor Beebe a minute, we'll go to those in the room first. Counselor Butler,
Aye.
Counselor Yudichak,
Aye.
Counselor Moran,
Aye.
Counselor Shea. Okay. Counselor Beebe.
Aye.
Aye as well, so those minutes are adopted. Correspondence to council, any correspondence to report? Counselor Yudichak. The answer to that question is yes, but
Yes,
Yeah.
so I gotta get to the right Word document I have going. So first of all, I apologize, and when I saw Susan Hughes in person, because she took a payment for my son, but anyways, I did forget about to mention her email a couple weeks ago about traffic lights, so that was very important because of how busy and dangerous it can be. So I just wanted to make sure that was put in the minutes for this time. And let's see, we just got a couple in tonight. Let me go to that. I believe a couple of them are in support of the school budget, and also I think in the council for acknowledging Black History Month. So got that one, and then we got another one regarding the steep grant that obviously thinks that's a good idea. I don't know if I missed any others because they're slowly coming in. Oh, and I did get one, I believe Brian forwarded, he did forward it to the entire council. Glowing reviews for library staff, so I want to make sure that was also put in the minutes. I guess a resident was really happy about the services there, and I know they don't get a lot of shout outs as well, so I think it's important to recognize the library that they got an acknowledgement from a resident. I believe that is one of the, another school one coming tonight. Yes, there was two, sorry, I'm just jumping back and forth. You know, we got another one, I just haven't had a chance to read it. But it looks like in support of school budget, but also has some concerns about what's going into the budget as well. So I might actually, I'll respond to her and make sure she CC the Board of Education on it, especially if she hasn't, just to be safe. And I probably will repeat some of these once I see them better. And did I miss any, council? I did. Apologize.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chairperson's report, I don't really have anything. Just say we've got some more inclement weather up on the way, so everybody stay safe up on the roads. And thank you to our. Yes.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
That's the best part about being on the council.
Yeah.
I know, we get those great
stories.
Yeah, thank you to our fire department and our DPW for all the extra work they put in this time of year to keep the roads clear and the inevitable accidents that follow. Communications and petitions from council persons. Best. Everybody wants to let Brian go home early so we can rest. Thank you, Brian, by the way, for supporting this meeting, and hope you get better.
Thanks, me too.
Yeah. Okay, item 15, public listed participation on any subject within the jurisdiction of the town council. Please note there is a 3-minute limit. Is there any one in the room like to go online? Anyone online like to speak? back to the room. All right, we have someone in the
Good thing
room.
I came, huh? Otherwise, I wouldn't say anything. Dennis Deegan, 689 Tolland State Road. Just a quick question. The books that are rendered obsolete, are they just dumped in the rubbish somewhere, or is there some source of maybe a developing country or some entity that could actually use them? I guess that's the question. I would have to think, having spent time in the high school a lot over the last 10 years, or most of the last 10 years, they have some pretty decent textbooks. So perhaps that can be looked into, or if not, if you are not going to look into it, or no one's going to look into it, then maybe I can follow back up with the Board of Ed or whatever. Okay. Second thing is, I need to familiarize myself more with STEEP. I'm not that familiar with it. I guess I was wondering if that can be used to spruce up the jail. It's on the green, which is looking extremely shabby of late. Looks a lot different than I remember it from 60 some odd years ago. And hopefully, again, I'll do my own research to understand what STEEP does, but I don't know whether or not that's something like STEEP or STEEP can do to help us maintain the appearance of the green. All right, thank you.
Great. Anybody online? All right, seeing no one, we'll close out public listed participation. With that, is there any objection to adjournment? Without objection, we are adjourned at 8:14 p.m. Thank you.